I'm Sarah Bivens.
And I'm Matthew Bivens.
We had a home birth back in 2016.
So we started a podcast about it.
And then grew it into a birth brand to help future and current parents believe in their success with home birth.
This is the place to hear home birth stories, along with helpful resources and tips to feel empowered and supported in your birth journey.
This is Doing It at Home. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matthew. What's going on, everybody?
We have a super special announcement for you, something that we're really excited to share. We're pregnant!
Yes, we are pregnant. We got baby number 2 cooking right now,
in here,
bun in the oven, and we are so incredibly excited. I mean, you could probably see it in our faces, hear it in our voices. We're thrilled.
I don't really know what to say other than we are so excited. We feel so incredibly grateful and blessed, and it's fascinating to be experiencing this, doing the show this time, because the first time we were doing this, it was just the two of us with a recorder in between us, and the show hadn't launched yet. You know, it was just a thought. It was just an idea. So it's incredibly awesome and unique to be sharing this with a community, to be sharing it with people. Many, in fact, who have been following along. You know, so many have listened from our first episode, and then so many have listened and followed along and held space for us and supported and sent, you know, well wishes and thoughts and prayers from when we first put out there that we were open to conceive. That's how we chose to call it and relate to it 2 years ago.
2 years.
So it was a 2-year journey, and we are going to share it obviously with you. We're going to break down, you know, over the months, what goes on for us every couple of weeks, and how we're feeling and how we're progressing, and what questions are coming up. What are we going to do differently? What are we going to do the same? You know, all the things, you know, we're going to unpack that. Yeah, it's still kind of surreal. I
think we're both still sinking, like the news is still sinking in.
Yeah.
Because for 2 years, and we've shared with you all that journey, the ups and downs that we experienced over those 2 years. And I would say in the last couple of months, up until we became pregnant, we got to a place of just feeling a lot of surrender to the process, and surrender in the way that we had faith that we would become pregnant. And we just understood that it wasn't on our time.
Right.
And, you know, we were just letting go this attachment that we had to when it was going to happen.
Yes.
And so I think with doing that, when we did receive the news, when you finally shared with me that we were pregnant,
which we go into that more in upcoming conversations that you will hear.
We'll talk about that in depth
yes.
in a very, you know, soon upcoming episode we're going to publish. But for both of us, it took and has taken a while for that reality to sink in. And so, you know, once again, we want to say thank you for all of your love, your support, your well wishes, the space that you've held for us over the 2 years, all of the messages that you all have sent, you know, saying that you can relate, saying that you had a similar experience, just all the things that you sent were so tremendous to us throughout the entire experience. And as Sarah was mentioning, this is so unique for us now, because when we were pregnant with Maya, you know, we didn't have the Doing It at Home community, and now we do with this new baby and this new pregnancy experience. So we're really excited, and we want you all to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
And we want you to send us your questions, because as Sarah mentioned, we're going to be sharing and documenting this pregnancy in a new episode every single month that's dedicated to us talking about what's been going on over the last 4 weeks.
Right.
So we'll share the things that have been happening, appointments we've been doing, questions we've been having, discussions that Sarah and I have been having, fears or worries or concerns or excitement, anything that's been coming up. We're going to cover that in these 4-week chunks on the new episode. So every month we're going to drop a new episode where we cover the previous 4 weeks of the pregnancy.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that we cover what's important to you and what you're curious about. So send us your questions. Like, what questions do you have for us? Send us the things related to our pregnancy that you would like for us to talk about. You know, talk about how you guys are planning this time around, and talk about how your intimacy has been this time around. Talk about whatever it is, send us those things. And where can they send them?
hello@diahpodcast.com, or there's a contact form on our website, diahpodcast.com.
Yes. And, we always have some fun things, cooking things up our sleeves. And, this is going to be a lot of fun. If you're pregnant right now, if you're going through a pregnancy experience, tune in and connect with us, listen in every month as we talk about ours. And again, get in touch with us, because this is something that we all get to do together, and you get to tune into and listen as we go through this pregnancy experience.
Yeah, it provides a new layer to the show in that we're all about the birth stories. Obviously, we have birth stories on birth stories on birth stories. And now with us being pregnant and planning for another birth, it's a unique thing to now be able to break down in real time and month to month share conversations that we're having in preparation up to the birth experience. So for those of you who are on your pregnancy journey or, or on a similar timeline to us or not, but just to get insight, I feel very grateful to have the opportunity to be able to provide this insight for those of you who might be going through it too, and to just hear others going through it as well is really incredible. So baby is likely to join us at the end of November or beginning of December. And that all just kind of depends on his or her plan and timeline.
Yes.
So I'm not putting an exact date out there, because what is that really? Yeah. But I can just say before the end of this year, I can say confidently.
2022, by the way, for those who might be listening to this.
In the future. So yes, we are in 2022 right now. So baby will join us at the end of November or beginning of December 2022. And, we'll probably go into this more, in future conversations, but I just want to drop in there for any who are wondering, it's been a 2-year journey. There was nothing specific that changed in the month prior to becoming pregnant. There was no magic pill. There was no thing. There was no
magic
thing
physician.
I ate. There was no magic physician. There was no intervention of some sort that did it. So I just feel like sharing that, because again, to what you said, it was about getting out of the way and, out of our time and all of that. So I know we'll break that down a little bit more, but for anyone who was just curious, oh, did you do a certain thing? Did one thing shift it? And the answer is no.
No.
Yes.
So tune in starting next week. We're going to be dropping the first episode of this series of us documenting our pregnancy. And that episode is going to start with us learning we're becoming pregnant.
Yep.
And it's going to go through the next 6 weeks. So it's from week 0 to week 6 that we're going to be documenting in next week's episode. So tune in.
Yes. Thank you so much, you all. We love you. Looking forward to sharing this journey with you, and we'll catch you next week.
Peace.
Quick note about the Doing It at Home podcast. Matthew and I are not doctors or medical professionals, and nothing we say should be taken as medical advice or opinion. If you have medical or health-related questions, please take them to a trained professional. We're here simply to entertain you with stories and conversations about pregnancy, birth, and parenthood.